Yeah, shit. Back.
Oh, oh, hey guys, welcome
Fuck.
into
Where am
another another Tuesday show of Odd Rhythm.
I? Oh,
So I actually tried doing like a what did you say, like a Sunday show, and I don't know I wa-
how'd that go for you, big boy?
I think I was actually a little bit too nervous and whatnot. Actually, what I should have did is actually I should have just kind of got myself like a little bit of like a structured a little bit kind of there's something for me to kind of like almost like a little checklist. I should have did that a little bit, and I was just kind of like all over the board. I'm like, yeah, like after 30 minutes, yeah, something like that. Yeah, I should have did something like that, and then I probably would have been just fine. But I was a little like I was all kind of over the place, and my anxieties were up. I should have actually just took like a whole shot or something, calm my anxieties down.
Funny you say that, Jay, because you could have used some Casadores tequila on Sunday.
Damn.
But you know
You,
what?
you,
You know what? We're back together. It'd be like me. It'd be like me doing my own stream. It'd probably sound like garbage too. So we just
maybe I don't
we're PB and J, man. You know,
know. Yeah,
tag team back again. So
yeah.
we got two shows this week. My phone's not going to crap out on me. I promise. Uh, I got the 14 Pro right here.
Oh shit, the
Yep,
pro.
yep.
This guy's moving up in the world.
I'm moving up in the world. Salute, my friend.
Yes.
Mm.
Boom.
That's
Cheers.
actually really, oh, that's actually really good.
Hmm.
I got to get you a bottle of this.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, you do. I want to try. I wanted to try that coconut one too, as well.
Yeah, I'll see what they got. I forget what brand that is, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was kind of curious. I kind of wanted to try that out and see what was all kind of going on, man. But yeah, for sure.
What's
So
going on?
actually, it was funny. I kind of did that show a little bit, and then I'm kind of like I was up for a little while, and next thing you know, like right at noon, boom, I was out. So I didn't actually see any games at all. I didn't see anything.
Uh, for the most part, there was. I mean, obviously that stinker. The Cowboys just fucking backhanded the Vikings 10 different ways, and yeah, I think they exposed them. Vikings won a lot of close games, and that Bills game was that was to me that's an upset. I mean,
Yeah,
they didn't. They Bills outplayed them. Even the Commanders the week before that, outplayed the Vikings. So I think the Vikings were exposed. I think that Packers game was a mirage. We saw what they did against Tennessee on last Thursday night. So I think Dallas is still a Super
yeah,
Bowl. Maybe it's a hot take. I don't give a damn. I think Dak is good enough. I think that defense is good enough. If Zeke and Pollard are both healthy, I mean that running game. I don't know how you're gonna. I mean, like I said, Green Bay. It was a upset. It was a mirage. I think Dallas is better than the Giants. I think they're
yeah,
right up there with the Eagles. I think they can compete with the Eagles. Definitely make it to at least a divisional playoff round and see what happens from there. But
for
yeah,
sure.
I like Dallas a lot. I think they're gonna handle business on Thursday too. So I like
Yeah, for
them.
sure.
Since he it was kind of close. I mean, Pickett looked good. I mean, for about maybe three and a half quarters. I mean, he was right there with Burrow. I mean, he was going neck and neck, and then Burrow just pulled it out at the end. Just kind of did his thing, and T Higgins went off. So the
Yeah,
Bengals are still treading water. Without Chase, and they're up to 6-4 now. So yeah, for the and then of course. What the fuck was that? The Jets and the Patriots. Dude, it was 3-3. I was watching this shit on Red Zone. It was 3-3. Got home from FedEx. What was watching the last bit on Red Zone. 3-3
yeah,
fourth quarter. They lose on a punt return touchdown. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
was like, what? I was like, and I love defense. In certain situations. I mean, it's NFL. I mean, you should have some defensive, but I mean, this was just pathetic. Wilson looked horrible.
yeah.
Mac Jones looked horrible.
Yeah, I really didn't see
You
any
want to throw up. You want to throw up. Honestly, I almost threw up in my
from
mouth right there.
well, I it was actually funny afterwards. I was actually hearing that they might even not even commit to Wilson this week. So the coach would seem like he was kind of furious and whatnot. So it's kind of like, oh shit, dude. It's like
I, and,
honestly,
and we. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
what I was trying to. Well, my point was is even though the team is having ups and downs, they should stick with the quarterback so he actually learns from his lessons. I mean, just not. Well, sorry, we're gonna go with somebody else just because you had a shit week. It's just kind of like, come on now. He might be kind of a shitty guy, but I mean, that's all he's got. That's all you guys got. I mean, Flacco and White. Come on.
Okay, no, now Mike White, no, hell, no. I mean, you're not. I mean, Zach Wilson's better than Mike White. Let's not even debate that. But Flacco had a couple 300-yard games early in the season. So if something does happen, I don't think they will. I think this is a winnable game against the Bears on Sunday.
Yeah.
But if they somehow pull the plug, if Salah's like, you know what, I'm done with this guy. I'm sick of his bullshit. I'm sick of him not taking ownership, owning up to being the leader of the team and controlling the locker room and being the face of the franchise. We could talk about this, when we get to the waivers, but
yeah.
I wouldn't throw the possibility, like if you're in a desperate situation, like let's say like me, for example, with Kyler. I don't know if Kyler is going to play in week 12. You might need to go and grab a Joe Flacco for a week or two. So it's not out of the possibility. I would assume it's Wilson, but we'll see.
Yeah, I was just gonna say maybe he needs to stop trying to flirt with all these girls and actually pay attention to football.
So that's where that's what I like about the guy. I don't like his I like the way. Well, okay, I like his arm, but I don't like his intangibles. I don't like his size. I don't like a lot of things about Zach Wilson. But he likes what I like. He likes cougs.
Yeah, it seems like it, man. So it's kind of like.
You know what? Maybe you, me, and Molly. Maybe we should all fly out to New York, go hang out with Zach for a little bit. Me and him could go clubbing. We can go pick up some 47-year-old women. I mean, that sounds like a great time to me.
Right?
Just saying.
That's crazy.
Maybe closer to 50. I don't know.
Yeah. No, but yeah, other than that, yeah, I was kind of, when I heard that a little bit, I was kind of surprised. And, the fact that, Melvin Gordon was also like pretty much just waived by the team. That was kind of crazy too. I'm like, what?
They're looking, Jay, I think they're looking for a scapegoat. Because I saw that they, I take it back. It was the Cardinals that fired an offensive coach, not the coordinator, but like one of the position coaches. So a lot of these teams that are underachieving, like the Cardinals, Raiders, Broncos, they're looking for a scapegoat.
Yeah.
And Denver just need to pull the bandage off. Okay. Nathaniel Hackett can't hack it. No pun intended. He needs to go. They're tied up with Russ with all this money in his contract, so he ain't going anywhere. Some of the weapons are being underutilized. I mean, come on, Sutton coming into the year, Sutton was probably a top 15 receiver.
Well, him and Judy were both kind of. It was either 50-50. It was either one of them were. Either one of them were going to be like, well, this guy is it, this guy's it, so it was kind of 50-50. I mean, these guys were pretty much borderline which guy was going to be the better guy coming into the year this year. And I was hoping it was Judy, but I mean, with Sutton come back from his ACL tear, I mean, it figured, well, give him opportunity. He might just be the guy too.
I think, God, I'm trying to think where a good landing spot for Melvin Gordon would be. Because,
well, he probably goes somewhere where someone's kind of
Bears?
running.
Bears, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, they probably would
with that Khalil injury.
Yeah, that could be very possible. I mean, Bears is very suitable. I mean, I think he'll be picked up for the weekend. I'm sure someone will pick him up. I'm sure. I mean, it's been.
Oh, go ahead.
It's just been a couple days now, so I'm sure he's cleared. So I mean, I'm pretty sure he can probably go wherever he wants to go. I'm sure.
And I just think it's crazy, man. It's like when he was drafted out of Wisconsin, I mean, he was touted. He was supposed to be the next Zeke. He was supposed to be, Chubb.
Yeah.
He was, top 10 perennial running back kind of guy. And he, first year or two in San Diego, or when they were in San Diego was decent. But he's just been I don't know, injuries or just. Not being as good as we thought he was. He got beat out by Austin Eckler. That's why they let go of him, and then he ends up in Denver. And he was decent, but he was kind of in a trio of backs or two backfield. I mean, he was never the main guy. So I think he might have, like I said, with Chicago, maybe he might have a little bit of value. But it's just I remember watching him in Wisconsin, and he was tearing it up, and I was like, this guy's going to be a Zeke. This guy's going to be a Nick Chubb. He's going to be a stud. And
most definitely. Yeah. He was. I mean, he was actually having monster games. I mean, he was having 2, 3 touchdowns almost weekly
He
when the
was, yeah.
game was
It's
close. I mean, he
early,
was
yeah,
tearing
early
it
when
up.
Phil Rivers, yeah, when Philip Rivers was still with the Chargers, yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you saw Daryl Henderson Jr. got cut by the Rams too. Man, oh
What?
man, which is good that they,
Henderson got. Oh no
yeah.
shit! I didn't even
Yep,
see that. I didn't.
I was on. Yeah, I was kind of research. I was kind of like putting the feelers out around and seeing the latest updates. Probably about 5 o'clock, and
Oh
saw
shit! I
that on
didn't know.
Twitter.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, okay. What I would assume, and this for all the guys that have been patient with Kyron Williams, I know you have him. I think on a couple, maybe one or couple teams or
Yeah, I had.
something.
I think I had him on a 1 or 2 team. I think I might have dropped. Well, I had him. Honestly, it came down to I actually had to make a couple moves, and it's like, well, I think it was trying. I think I had to drop him in one league just because of hurt injuries, and it kind of sucked. It kind of blew my mind. It kind of sucked for me because I had to do what I needed to do, and I'm like, fuck, dude. It was kind of shitty, but yeah.
Um, yeah, Rams running game it is Eric. Yeah, man.
Hey, nice, Eric. I'm glad you got StreamYard to let you access your.
Actually put a name in this time, right?
Yes, yes, awesome, man. We appreciate that.
Uh, yeah, and
Yeah,
thanks for tuning in. But I think that opens the door for Kyron Williams. Cam Akers is going to be he's going to be a spotty guy. He's going to be injured, or he might pop up with a 60-yard touchdown game.
yeah,
He's going to be that kind of guy. He's never going to be a top 20 fantasy back. He's not going to be, what he was maybe projected as, maybe
yeah.
beginning of 2021 or something. But Kyron Williams, that's the guy. Like if you're in a deeper league, and like I said, if you probably just need the roster spot. But I mean, if you're able to, go and snag this, and we'll maybe get to him in waivers too. But
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought I'd bring that up with Henderson because Henderson was actually a pretty good back last year, and this year, he was. It's weird seeing these veterans cut because he doesn't have a big contract, and he was playing fair. His yards per carry wasn't the best, and he wasn't putting up a lot of touchdowns, which might have led to this. But I thought he was a productive back last year, and it shows how quickly the league changes. I mean, just year after, you can't predict this stuff.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah. Because actually, I was actually going to drop. I was actually going to drop Henderson tonight too. I was going to drop him because I'm like, everybody was just like, well, he's just a total drop. So I was like, well, fuck. So I was actually going to go out there and see, and that's actually surprising that Henderson actually got dropped. That's insane, man. Dude, so we had exprises.
Yeah, and right. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think? Okay, I think there's a better chance of Melvin Gordon because Melvin Gordon he's had the propensity of being a touchdown machine at points. So Melvin Gordon's he's got some like goal line presence. You could especially Chicago, so they don't have to give it to Fields every down.
Yeah.
And try to plug it in. Do you think? I don't think I think Gordon has a chance, but Henderson might be done in the league. I mean, I don't know who's going to kick the tires on him, and I think he might be a guy that goes into the abyss. Next year when we're looking at like the 2023 Yahoo rosters, he'll be in like the NA or something.
Yeah. I mean, it fumbles with Gordon. I don't really think that's quite the issue. I mean, things are going to happen. Hands are going to be all over the place. So, I mean, yeah, he might have fumbled here and there, but honestly, I just don't think the fumble part is really that part of the issue because I mean, if you think of what he did with Denver the year before, I mean, he was still doing what he needed to do. He was putting up numbers and getting touchdowns and stuff like that. And I just think this offense
it's garbage.
With Wilson coming in and whatnot, so I think that just played a whole toy into everything. And then them getting Chase Edmonds and whatnot, and they got Marlon Mack now, and Boone might even be coming back too. Yeah. So I mean. So it's
the hell are they the new 49ers? Like what the hell? five
right?
backs, and Chase Edmonds. I think Chase Edmonds at this point is actually a better back than Melvin Gordon. And he's not getting touches, so that's just and
Edmonds is hurt. I believe he's hurt. So I mean, that's why he's not even been playing. I think he's got something with an ankle, I believe, or something. Okay. One of those two things, I believe. It's one of those.
And with I don't know. Latavius Murray, I thought he was done. I guess this is probably the second or third time I thought he was, in New Orleans and when he was
Right?
like Vikings for a cup of coffee, he was at the Raiders.
It
You
was
always
with
think
the Ravens too.
Ravens, yeah, yeah. You
Yeah,
always think
yeah.
this guy's done, and then he'll sign somewhere and then put up a couple of good fantasy games, and you're like,
Yeah,
damn,
he will
why
most
did you
definitely.
know?
I just don't think he has like the most like even with when he was with the Vikings, he didn't really have that much wear and tear on him, you know. So I mean, I think after like the Vikings let him go, I mean, it's just one of those things that a running back he's not getting that pound, you know, like he's not getting hit all the time, so he's kind of got that less wear and tear on him, like what most running backs would have. You know what I mean?
Jamie, there's probably 10 guys in the league, and maybe not even that many that you can count on for. I mean, they might be hurt a game, or they might, have a few stinkers or whatever. But there's probably only 8 to 10 guys you can count on for an entire season. Obviously, it starts with like Nick Chubb, got Saquon, and now Saquon, he's healthy. Saquon,
Yeah.
guys like that you
He
can.
had he had a shitty game here this
He
weekend, I
did, he
guess.
did, yeah.
I actually had him in. I actually had him in my couple DFS lineups, hoping that he would like score big. Nope.
Yeah, Lions. You know what? People have been disrespecting the Lions defense has actually been playing decent. They gave up 9 points to Green Bay. They gave up 18 to the Giants. So I mean, they're steadily getting better. They're up to 4-6. I mean, I don't think they're going to get blown out by the Bills. I think they're going to lose, but I think they'll be competitive against Buffalo on Thursday. So, maybe we'll do that at the end with you do a few picks or something. I can
Yeah.
see what the final score is going to be, but. I like I like Detroit when I saw, there's 8 to 10 guys. Everybody else is just, I mean, it's literally like 3-week blocks is the way you need to look at it with run, especially with fantasy. I was skeptical, but you told me about Latavius Murray, and you were correct on that. You go snag these guys up and you take them for little blocks. Kenyon Drake, if you had taken him for about a 3-week block, now he's regressed back to being Kenyon Drake. He's not the bee's knees, man. He's probably a top 30, top 25 back or something. But
I mean, I would still
playing
I
like a
would.
top 10 for a little bit.
I mean, I would still play Drake. I mean, even though they're not the Ravens are not really they don't have that quite that passing offense, and they're always going to be kind of a run team too. And I guess Gus might be coming back, but I would still play Drake over Gus either way. If you have Drake, I mean he's going to still get the catches and carries and whatnot. So I mean Lamar is going to kind of do his thing too, but
He's gonna have to. He's gonna have to. I think Mark
yeah,
Andrews is pretty much on the injury report every week now, and we like Isaiah Likely, but
yeah,
Bateman's out. I mean, they just got injuries up the ass, especially on the offense, and
yeah.
Dobbins, he's still out. So yeah, you might be right on Drake, but my point was like, these guys that are waiver wire, kings, that you can just snag up for free. You don't have to trade for them. You don't have to draft them or anything. They're good in about 3-week blocks, and then you can move off them, or you can stash them or whatever you want to do. But you kind of the elite guys and everybody else is kind of it just shifts throughout the year. You have Eckler, Chubb, the main top dogs, but everybody else is just kind of
Yeah.
take it as they come.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely for sure.
How'd you doing for your fantasy leagues this weekend?
Well, I didn't do too bad. Um actually won in I barely just won in the 16 man. I thank God Mahomes actually tossed that last touchdown there at the end, so I went up on there. I got beat in your brother's league, which was kind of shitty. Um, then in our 12 man I actually won. I beat your brother, which was kind of nice. I had Kittle and the Niners defense. But yeah, I had a couple wins and a couple losses. The 20 man I actually won in, so I had a pretty good weekend.
Yeah, it sounds like you cleaned up nice, and
Yeah.
you're still we have our big matchup in 16 man this week. This is I mean it's gonna my team's the healthiest it's been all year. Obviously, you're the top dog, and it's gonna be it's gonna be a hard week. But I have to me the playoffs started last week. I got the get out of here, Eric. Yeah, so yeah,
Actually,
playoffs started
I
last
beat
week. I'm 5-6. You're 10-1. So
Yeah.
I gotta win out to have any chance to get into the
Yeah,
playoffs.
most definitely for sure. It's and I hope you. I mean, for you, kind of hopping into the 16 man. I mean, I hope it kind of like gives you a little bit more perspective. You know what I mean? It's instead of playing in a lot of these, smaller 10 man, 12 man, where you can just add and pick up people like crazy.
Hearts, you too, bro.
No,
Yeah, no,
yeah, be
this 16 and 20. I mean, I'm down. I'm down to do 20 next year. I want to try. I'm trying different leagues and kind of see. It's like Goldilocks. It's like this one's too cold. This one's too hot. This one's just right. 16 man is a whole
yeah,
different animal. You make it's harder to fix your team for sure. You make a bad trade or you make a bad acquisition. You have a lot of injuries or whatever the case. You don't set your team that way. There's
yeah,
a lot of circumstances where you'll get eaten alive in these bigger
yeah.
leagues when players I mean, you got to be on the waiver first thing Tuesday morning. Into Wednesday, you need to be on the waivers. You need to be kind of kicking the
No,
tires
yeah,
on if you can make a deal with somebody or it's a whole different animal. 12 man's way easier.
yeah,
And I know you're dominating probably in a few. I'm 9-2 in a 12 man, so
yeah,
it's just one of those things where these and anybody else. I know Zach, our friend Zach, who does 12 man. He joined our 16 league, and he
yeah.
took over a team, and he'd say probably say the same thing. It's like Zach does really well in 12 man, but he'd probably say, "Damn, the 16 is something else, man."
Yeah,
Well,
it is. It is. I mean, you actually got to be on top of your stuff. I mean, it's. I mean, I mean, the bad part in the 20 man, like I mentioned before, is I actually didn't even draft. I'm like, because I actually ended up just falling asleep, forgetting all about it, and I'm just like, shit. I mean, I'm lucky. I actually got a good few pieces to actually help my roster out, and you know, I, and this league's pretty much just it's pretty much it's pretty much come and go. If somebody's on the waiver, boom, you can pick them up that day, that night. There's actually no waivers, so I mean, it's a pretty much a free for all. So I mean, if you're somebody like the whole, Foreman, I mean, Deontay Foreman, I went and snagged him up right away because I'm like, fuck, that's gonna help my team out quite a bit. So I mean, it's things like that well, if you're actually, you know, really involved, you're actually gonna see that stuff before other people are and now I'm like 80, so I mean it's crazy, man.
Yeah, no, and Foreman's another example of the running back we were kind of talking about. Like the season started off as McCaffrey. He gets hurt a lot. So if anybody
Yeah,
were to guess, it would have been like, okay, Hubbard's going to be the lead back by maybe week
yeah, most
7.
definitely. Yeah,
And yet CMC ends up getting traded, and then Foreman comes out of nowhere, and now Foreman is probably a top 12 to top 15 back. You know what I mean? He's
yeah.
putting up numbers every week, and Hubbard's kind of the complimentary, kind of the
No, yeah,
sidekick.
most definitely.
So yeah, no, it's interesting to see with that, and kind of some of the moves. Maybe we can talk about quarterback stuff right now. Yeah, Jared, yeah, dude. Samaje Perine from the Bengals had 3 touchdowns. But these guys do that. I mean, Hardman from the Chiefs had a 3 touchdown game. Perine just had one. There'll be guys that are on, that we wouldn't think would have 3 touchdown games that do. I don't see it as any kind of trend. Unless Mixon would be out for an extended amount of time, and then Perine
Well,
might
I
play.
think Mixon will be out this week. I have a feeling because
He
with
is
the way
okay.
the way the protocol is now. I mean, if you get a concussion, you're more likely not going to be playing that week. So I mean, I just think Perine's going to be the hot pickup this week. That's just me because anytime anybody's going to has a concussion, they're not going to be playing this week. So I mean, it's just one of those things. You damn well know it's like, all right, well, he's going to be out. Just like with Tua. I mean, he got hurt. So that kind of hurt me a little bit. So I mean, it's just when somebody has a concussion, you can just guarantee they're going to be out for a week.
Jared's all starry-eyed about Jamal Williams. Jared, I'm going to get to him.
Yeah.
Jared, here's a little preview. I'll be getting to him in probably about 10, 15 minutes. You won't speak to that.
Yeah.
With second place Detroit line. Yes, they are. You damn right. Jared, I said 9-8 before the season started. I looked dumb for a while, but it's not out of the question yet. Detroit might salvage this season. So we'll see what they do against Buffalo on Thursday.
Well, they do got their rookie. He's actually
Jameson's going to be playing soon. Hell yeah!
pretty soon. Yeah, he actually was able to actually start practicing with the team, which is kind of sweet because I actually got him stashed in some leagues right now. I'm like, and I just I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see when he does and when he does get to play. You know, if I mean he's a tall dude, so I mean he's almost like a Megatron a little bit. I mean this guy is tall, so I mean it's. I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of excited a little bit, you know.
He's got number one potential. I mean, Chark can't stay on the field, and Chark's kind of he's not what he was a couple years in Jacksonville. He's kind of a dud now. Khalif Raymond's he'd be a nice number 3. I think that Khalif's not a number 1 or number 2.
Yeah.
So they have guys that are playing over their heads right now. That I think
most definitely.
If you have a Jameson Williams who can maybe he does what Burks is doing with Tennessee. I think Burks is going to evolve. He had a big game against Green Bay. I think he'll evolve into the number 1 guy. But I think the same thing with Jameson Williams. You go into 2023 with the Lions, and so I wouldn't fire Dan Campbell. I wouldn't, fire the defensive coordinator quite yet. I wouldn't just cut bait with Jared Goff. I mean, just see this thing through. Maybe they get better as the season goes on, and maybe Detroit maybe at the wow they won 8 games or wow so just they don't need to. Oh, he loves his free public seafood, James. Maybe we can get to that with waivers, because I know Andy Dalton is still available, and Jameis Winston. I don't know what the hell that's all about. I think James can still play, Eric. I think there should be a landing spot. If I were him, I'd demand a trade. I'd be like, dude, I'm not or something. I like get me out of here. Like I'm not gonna ride the bench behind Andy freaking Dalton. That's just not,
for sure.
So Drew Brees is one thing, but
for sure.
Yeah, no. So some of the quarterback, Zach Wilson. We'll do a quick hot take. Couple guys. Zach Wilson. Do you think it's him or Flacco? Let's say the next 2 weeks. So 12 and 13. Weeks 12 and 13. By the end of week 13, is it Flacco or is it Zach Wilson?
I just think it might. I think it might be Flacco. I mean, if this guy's contemplating, it might be Flacco. I mean, White's he's kind of up in there. I mean, he's kind of that hot. He's kind of that hot hand a little bit. I mean, he's kind of that relief guy in my eyes. He kind of slings it. I mean, I like the fact that he just kind of goes out there and just does his thing, tries to make plays, which is kind of awesome. But I think it might be Flacco. It's just my feeling, anyways.
He's got a little bit of Heineke to him, Mike White.
Yeah.
That the guys like him, and he goes out there and flings it.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. That's for damn sure. I don't mind my. There was a couple times where I'm like, shit, dude. You see like that 300 or 400 yard game. You're like, damn, why did I didn't have him this week? And it's just like it's unpredictable, especially I figured that that Patriots Jets game would have been a little bit more high scoring, or somebody would have had a 100-yard game out of that game, because sometimes that ends up being like that, especially with those games, especially like the Jets and Patriots games. Sometimes those games end up being that way, and it's kind of like shit, dude.
You can't predict this stuff. Obviously, Belichick eats young quarterbacks for lunch, especially ones that aren't super mobile. I mean, he has trouble.
Yeah, most definitely.
He has trouble with like Lamar and Josh Allen. Just freakish athletes. But Zach Wilson's not that. I heard he's freakish in the bed though. But no. So we got. You know what? I'm going to say Zach Wilson, because I think they're going to look stupid if Flacco goes and has the same numbers. Then it's like, okay, you ruined the kid and you're not going to make the playoffs. So I think Zach Wilson will be the starter by the end of week 13. In Washington, Carson Wentz is supposed to come back in the next probably next week 13, I would say.
Yeah.
Is it going to be at the end of week 13? Taylor Heineke or Carson Wentz for the Commanders?
I think it's Heineke.
I agree.
I mean, I just don't think they're going to change it up now. I mean, they're playing too well. Heineke's, he's actually in the groove right now. I mean, they're all meshing very well. So I mean, I just think it's going to be Heineke. I mean, there's no way. It's like, why bring Carson in and then all of a sudden just toy up all the chemistry with everybody right now? I just don't think. I just rather see Heineke in there right now. I mean, the team's playing well. They're doing great, So
they play harder for him. Like I said, there's something about Wentz. I don't know if it's his presence in the locker room, because he's got all the. I mean, guys, 6'5", he's got a big arm. He's mobile. I mean, Carson Wentz should. if things would have worked out differently, dude, he should be Josh Allen. He should be Big Ben. He should be one of these just freakish big, Pro Bowl level guys every year. And there's just something with him. And I think they're going to get rid of him at the end of the year. I think Heineke, he did this 2 years ago when they made that playoff run and almost beat us in the playoffs. Heineke, they need to commit to this guy. I mean, he doesn't put up flashy numbers, but he just wins games. He wins.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, he's not quite like a Baker Mayfield or freaking Johnny Manziel or anything like that. I mean, he's not really flashy, but I mean, he gets the shit done.
Exactly. And we see how flashy he's working out for Baker. I mean, we see Sam Darnold starting in Carolina. That's a shit, dude. That is a shit show. I wish PJ Walker would just get healthy, get right. Just here with PJ Walker. These two are bums. Sam Darnold, he'll be lucky to be holding the clipboard the rest of his career. Baker needs to go. He needs to go call Fox College games with Gus Johnson. You know what I mean? He needs to be like a color in for college football. Get him out of here. I don't excuses with this guy.
It's funny because it's like. I rather see PJ Walker back because I mean, fuck. At
least he's exciting, man. At least he's got there's upside with PJ Walker. I mean, what upside is there with Sam Darnold? This guy, he saw ghosts when he was with the Jets. And
that's a bad thing too. I mean, he was actually a high
Sci-Fi Channel.
He was actually a high draft pick too, and that's the bad thing about that. I mean, he was You could probably say he's a freaking a bust, I mean, it's
Darnold is he was at one time, Eric. I don't think so anymore. This guy belongs holding the clipboard. It's sad when Mike White from the Jets might be better than both these guys. I mean, you've reached that point, man. So
it is.
I'm not even going to talk about Carolina and their quarterback controversy because it's not worth my time. They're just junk. I got one more though, because this affects a lot of people. Before we get to Ricky Watt, we'll get to Ricky in a second. I was going to ask you quick, what do you think about Kyler? Because he's owned. I don't know if it's 100%, but I mean, it's pretty damn close. Kyler Murray's a top 10 fantasy quarterback. Everybody's got him in every size league. Do you think Kyler? Because they have a bye week 13. Do you think Kyler is going to miss week 12? Because I do. I'm already planning in my head. I need to have an Andy Dalton or one of these waiver quarterbacks to fill.
Yeah, it seems like Kyler might miss another week, and then it's from what it sounded like anyway.
14.
So
back week 14 maybe.
Yeah. It sounds like it, So from what I was hearing, that they'll probably end up staying with McCoy, and it's just kind of like, it's like, oh shit, dude. I mean, the way the freaking Cardinals are going right now, it doesn't seem like it's all too hot, man.
You know what this means, Jamie? You know what this means? This isn't just a little briefcase. It means pack it in. That's what's going to happen. Pack it in. They're done. They're going. Yeah. They're going to be like 5-12, 6-11. They're awful. They are awful.
That's for damn sure, man. It's crazy. But yeah, I happy to kind of see a little quick thing. I mean, like Josh posted that whole Hall of Fame the nominees, and I was looking down. I'm like
28 of them. Yep.
Yeah, I'm like, oh shit. I mean, there was actually some good ones actually up in there. DeMarcus Ware, freaking Ricky Waters,
remember Andre Johnson from the Texans?
Yep. And then I seen that freaking what was it? One of the QBs or not cornerbacks too. I think one of the other I can't remember.
Darren Woodson from Dallas. He's been a finalist for years. Darren Wood, he was an analyst for ESPN, but Darren Woodson was damn good with you guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I loved him back in the day, dude. I mean, he was a good kind of safety-ish. I mean, he was elite, man. I mean, I'm
damn near on the verge of tears when I found out that Ricky Waters might be going in the Hall of Fame. Dude, it's about time. It's about fucking time.
I think he played with 3 teams, right? Yeah, because I'm trying to remember which team he actually played for first. Because
Jay, so it was the 49ers. Back in like the late. He was basically Roger Craig's replacement or kind of his sidekick.
Yeah.
And so like the early 90s, late 80s 49er teams, and then he went to the Eagles.
I remember that.
Those beloved Kelly Green. I wish they'd bring those back, dude. I love those Kelly Green. Randall Cunningham. Reggie White, all those guys. And then late 90s, it was the Seahawks.
Seahawks.
with like Dennis Erickson and John Kitna and those guys.
And I think that's when that's when I think Sean Alexander kind of came in that mix after Ricky
Yeah,
Waters,
Sean
I
was
believe.
he was kind of the successor to
Yeah,
Ricky. So
yeah,
Ricky was 3 different stops. I mean, he was a Pro Bowl level back.
yeah. He was a
Oh,
monster, man. I
he
remember.
was.
I think I mostly remember him with the Eagles. The 49ers, don't remember him too much, but yeah, I mean, I remember him with the Eagles, and it's just like it's like he was fuck. He's kind of almost like another like he was almost kind of like an Emmett Smith a little bit to a point. He was fun to watch. It's
He
when I
was he
saw it.
was he was flashy.
Yeah,
Ricky. He looked good when he was. You know what I mean? Like he looked good when he was like Dion. He was like the run. He was
yeah,
like the running back version of Dion. He looked good out there. Uh, I just think he hasn't gotten because of his era, because he
yeah,
played against Emmett, Barry Sanders, Thurman
yeah,
Thomas.
yeah,
Who else am I missing here? Um, but yeah, and those were like the main backs. Terrell Davis, like guys
yeah,
like that. Those
yeah.
were his peers, and those guys were just all time top 15, 20 backs. So he came in. If he had been in a different era, I mean, it wouldn't have taken this long. But I think Ricky gets in this year. I think he's probably one of the 6 or 8 guys that gets in.
Yeah, that'd be kind of awesome. Yeah, I was gonna kind of look at that list again, and I mean, I hope Demarcus Ware gets in there. I mean, he earned
He's an animal,
he
dude. He
yeah,
helped Denver. Him and Von Miller. It damn sure wasn't Peyton Manning.
yeah,
Him and Von Miller basically single-handedly won that 2015 Super Bowl for Denver, and all the years and all the sacks with Dallas. I mean, that Dallas. I mean, you can blame it on the coaching. I think with Jason Garrett and Wade Phillips, I think those guys kind of blew it. I think a couple of those
yeah,
Dallas teams with Romo and Dez and some of the weapons they had. Marion Barber, some of those guys that they had on offense and defense. Cowboys should have made at least one Super Bowl run. At
Oh,
least
they should have. That's for damn
2007.
sure.
2007, DeMarcus was probably at his best, and
Yeah,
that Cowboys team should have been playing the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I mean, they got
yeah,
beat by the Giants, but yeah. So DeMarcus Ware, I wouldn't be surprised. He was an animal, and finally got that ring. I would have to go. Is there any other guys, if you're kind of looking at the list, is there any other guys you were like, okay, this guy's for sure. I think this guy's getting in this year.
let me. I was actually gonna pull up the list here real quick because I was actually gonna check it out and see, and I was like, because yeah, it's I was kind of curious about that a little bit because I was like, Jared Allen, with the Vikings. I mean, he
Round him
was a
up.
monster.
Round
Yep,
him up.
damn right. Rodney Harrison. Devin Hester should be in that, man. Hester should be in there. I mean, for him being a punt returner. I mean, he was almost like it was pretty much the next Dion. So I mean, it's
It was every time he touched the ball, you didn't know what you thought he was taking it back. I mean,
yeah,
every kickoff, every punt return. I mean, you never knew when Devin Hester was housing it.
yeah.
Ronnie
Steve
Harrison
Smith
was a
for
great. Ronnie Harrison was a great. He was great with the Chargers and Patriots. I think Ronnie Harrison might
Yep,
get in.
yep.
What were you
Rich did
saying?
um Heinz Ward's in there and Reggie Wayne. Um,
I think there's too many. Some of the other Colts I saw Dwight Freeney, Robert
um,
Mathis. Some of those remember those Colts teams that with Peyton Manning and Edgerrin
yeah,
James and all those guys.
yeah,
I don't think all those guys are getting in. I know the Colts
yeah,
team is pretty damn good. I don't think all those. You know, I think Dwight Freeney of the two might have a better chance. Of the two receivers you talked about, I think Heinz Ward probably has a better chance because he was
yeah, yeah.
like kind of the offensive face of the Steelers for years, and those Steelers
Oh
teams were pretty
yeah,
good.
most definitely. Yeah,
Reggie, and he was the number one guy. I mean, Heinz Ward was for a time was the number one receiver in Pittsburgh,
yeah,
and then he kind of handed it off to AB and some other guy,
yeah,
Paul
yeah,
Randall and some of those other guys.
yeah, for sure.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, Reggie Wayne, I think Marvin Harrison was head and shoulders,
Yeah,
and I think he worked off of him and got his numbers because of that. So I
yeah.
don't think
They got Torrey Holt up in here too, and I'm just kind of like,
I don't think he was damn good, but he wasn't. Like Isaac Bruce was the better of the two of those
yeah,
Rams, those
yeah,
best show on turf, Rams. So that's questionable. He had some bigger years with the Rams and I think Jacksonville too. So
yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. they got Antoine Bolden in here
Anquan
too.
Bolt, he was,
Yeah,
yeah. I think we're just like because of the era, it's going to be hard to judge because in the past, if you had a certain if you had certain numbers, a running back at least 10, 10, 11,000 yards running,
yeah,
receiver if you had over 800 catches, there used to be certain marks that you could okay, this guy's a Hall of Famer. You have
yeah,
at least whatever 60 touchdowns or we're in such an offensive era that we kind of think these guys might be Hall of Fame, but just based, you're telling me a list of their peers, and I don't think Anquan Bolton's a Hall of Famer. I think he was a damn
yeah,
good receiver. I don't think he's HOF.
yeah. Well, I guess in this list, I would probably in my hopefully like to me, I guess Smith, Daryl Reeves for sure, maybe Steve Smith, DeMarcus Ware for sure.
Oh, I love Steve Smith, man. I love
Yeah,
some of his
yeah,
touchdown celebrations.
yeah. Well, they actually got Fred Taylor up in here too. Um, maybe,
See, uh, that's exactly my point because he's got the yardage because he played such a while and he had memorable years with Jacksonville and New England. But yeah, Fred Taylor's not a Hall of Famer. Get out of here.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, just I maybe Devin Hester. Those are some of the guys. Those are
I don't
some of the
think I don't think
guys.
you I don't think you can tell the history of the game without Devin Hester. I think he's
Yeah,
the great. And I know Cordero just passed him for punt return touch, but Cordero is not. I mean, people aren't like Cordero. People. Devin Hester, he scared the league for 10 years. This guy
yeah,
scared the living bejesus out of the league, man. Every time he touched the ball, so and he had some receiving numbers too. He actually had decent receiving numbers for a little bit. So
yeah. He did.
he was a versatile guy, and Devin. Yeah, I would vote for Devin Hester. I think
Yeah,
to me he's the greatest kick returner ever.
yeah. But yeah, I think those are. I mean, there's some good lists up in there, and I like some of the names up in there this year, and but yeah, I think those are. I think that kind of covers. Kind of the Hall of Fame, but yeah, Ricky Waters. I hope he kind of gets in. I think he earns it. He earns it.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But yeah, you know what? You know what time I think it is. You know what time I think it's for.
Ooh. Oh, have to threaten me with a good time.
Oh yeah.
Turn out the
I
lights.
oh, careful, everyone. Eli is gone. Where did he go? Oh shit! Getting a little clappy happy up in here.
We just entered the red light district. You know what time it is?
Oh,
You know what time it is? It's time for studs and duds. Ah, yes. Running backs. Heaven is like the Mariano Rivera. Yeah, no, I agree, Jared. Yeah, absolutely. Mariano Rivera, greatest closer ever. Devin Hester, greatest kick returner ever. Absolutely. HOF, baby. All the way. And you know what? If Jamal Williams keeps playing like this, he might be HOF too. Jamie's been tearing it up.
yeah,
And
damn right.
and this is with Swift too. I mean, it's not like he's just a one back. It's okay. There's okay. Swift is out hurt again or something. No, I mean the Lions are just tearing it up. They are offense, defense playing better. You know what? Jamal Williams, another 3 touchdown game. He's another one of these guys that he was probably drafted later. I don't think he was a waiver. Maybe in smaller leagues he was a waiver pickup, but he would have been a late round pick. And he's been paying big dividends for people. He's been having a great season, and I thought I'd give him a shout out here. I don't think I try to find studs that we don't usually get. We don't mention a lot of, and that's why I brought
Yeah,
up.
for sure.
That's why I brought up Andy Dalton too. He's kind of keeping the ship afloat. Saints are 4-7. They're kind of done, but still alive. They still got a puncher's
Yeah,
chance to get into the playoffs. And Andy Dalton's been, he's had a couple. He had a 41-point fantasy game a few weeks ago, and I'm going to be, in our matchup probably, and maybe in another league I'm in that I had Kyler. I'm thinking I'm going to have to depend on Andy Dalton, so I'm going to need another week like this. And you get 260 and 3 touchdowns from a waiver guy like him that nobody was expecting this from. I mean,
yeah.
that's paying pure dividends. So give a shout out to these guys because it might be the last time I ever give a shout out to Andy Dalton. So
The crazy part is I actually played Russell Wilson over Andy Dalton this week, and I was like, shit. I'm like, this might be a good game, and
you're not,
I was
it's hard because you're not doing anything wrong. Because if Russ goes off if he finally wakes up from this coma and has a 30-point game or something, then you look dumb. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, why didn't you start Russell? So you're doing the right thing, but I mean, I almost it's crazy to think, but I almost think you need to start Andy Dalton next week. I don't trust Russ right now.
Yeah. It was kind of those games that I was kind of like, ugh. And for me, like the matchup, but I figured the matchup was going to be actually a little bit better, so with the Saints in that game, and then, with the other, the Broncos game, I thought was actually going to be a little bit more of a suitable game for Russ to actually put up points. And yeah, that kind of shit in my face. So I'm like, fuck. But I
Well,
still won my matchup, but still I'm like, fuck, I should have went with Andy Dalton.
well, you still, and yeah, it's all about, like our boy Jameis, you want to eat the dubs, but it comes down to points too. A lot of these leagues, to get into the playoffs, you got to have the points and the record. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't blame you for being irritated. I'm irritated. I'd be irritated too. I mean, Russ was supposed to do big things, and they're doing the dumbest thing because a veteran running back has fumble issues. It's like Melvin Gordon's always. Here's a fun fact. Melvin Gordon had fumble issues at Wisconsin. This guy's always fumbled the ball. Everybody knows that. But he's a touchdown machine, and they're blaming it on him. Get out of here. Get Russ out of here. Andy Dalton all the way. I'm gonna get. You know what? Andy Dalton keeps playing like this, Jimmy. I'm going to get on Amazon. I'm going to order an Andy Dalton T-shirt, and I'm going to be rocking. I'm going to cut the sleeves off like I do. Be rocking that.
You know what I heard? I seen a tweet or something like that. Supposedly, Melvin was playing some new rap stuff or something like that, and Wilson was like, "Yeah, dude, get this guy up out of here." And they supposedly they waived him for him playing rap or something. I don't know, but this some tweet I seen on Twitter. I'm like, fuck that. I'm like, what? I'm like, Jesus Christ.
You a little petty, Russ?
I know,
like
right?
Oh, he says I look like Bono from U2. Hilarious.
But yeah, it's I just got a couple guys too, but I'll wait till we get done with your little segment here, which is kind of crazy.
Oh, you want me to talk about I was gonna do the whole Vikings offense, but that would be mean to Dalvin Cook because I like Dalvin Cook a lot, and I'm not gonna blame him. But that performance, I mean, at home when the whole country's watching because it was the Fox game of the week, and everybody's touting this team now because they beat Buffalo and they want to shit the bed like this. Kirk Cousins, 105 and a fumble. He's not that bad. I mean, Kirk Cousins is probably a top 12 quarterback, so he's not this bad. I'm not gonna pile on him like I did Zach Wilson, but you shit it's another example of why the Vikings won't do anything. They might win one playoff game, might get to like the divisional round or something, but there'll be a 49ers, a Cowboys, an Eagles. A team like that will take them out because they're mentally not there, and they never will be. And JJ. Luckily, I have him in 2 leagues too, and I don't know if you have him, but
yeah, I got him in a couple leagues too.
Okay, so you felt my pain. So
yeah, I did.
We become so accustomed to this guy having 25-point games. It's just when you get a 6 or 7-point game from him, you're like, whoa, okay. But he's entitled to have a stinker. I mean, this guy, he's still a top 3, if not the best receiver in the game. So I'm not gonna pile on. It's just the whole Vikings offense was trash. The defense defense isn't the greatest to begin with, and they were exposed. And so I just want the hype to go away. This is not an 8-2 dominant team. This is probably a division level, wild card level playoff team. This is not a team it's not a team we're going to be talking about in February. Absolutely not.
Oh God, no. Probably more likely we might be, but it's it's hard saying really. The bad part is, they got sacked like 9 times, and it just goes to show it's just like you might be having that nice record, but if you're not coming in and playing your heart out, you're not going to fucking win.
I can name 5 teams in the NFC right now that I think are better than the Minnesota teams. I think I think the Bucs are better. I think the Eagles, Cowboys, 49ers, and I'm going to say it. And they almost beat them a couple weeks ago. I think the Commanders, they've come out of nowhere. I think the way the Commanders are playing defense and the way Taylor Heineke's playing, the running backs, Gibson and Robinson are stepping it up. The receivers are finally getting healthy. Samuel McLaurin. I like that whole Commanders team. I think that they would beat the Vikings straight up on a neutral field or at
Well,
home or
yeah,
something.
they the
I like
Commanders beat the Eagles, so I mean, it just goes to show. I mean,
yeah,
it's
I
if
like
you
that.
come up
I
into
like that
play,
Commanders team.
yeah,
I
if you
like
come
that
up,
Commanders team a lot.
yeah, yeah, if you come into play, man, you can beat any team if you want to. I mean, if you're down and wanting to win, yeah, you can do everything. And this, Chase is back too with
Is he?
with the with the
Oh,
the Commanders. So
oh,
I mean, that's
yeah. Not Jamar. See, some of you might be thinking it's Jamar Chase. No, it's Chase Young.
yeah.
And he's an animal too. They're coming on hot, man. I think the Giants right now they're 7-3, and everybody's on their dick. I think the Giants are going to end up 9-8. I think the
Well,
Giants will be the
Giants
odd
are going to
man out.
lose. They're going to lose
Yeah,
this week.
Giants aren't making the Giant. This is a hot take. Giants aren't making the playoffs. No,
No.
Commanders are going to jump them. Dallas is going to, Dallas is there. They're going to whatever. If not already, they're jumping them. Eagles are above them, and then some other teams will get Bucks, 49ers, Vikes, and then another team from somewhere else is going to get in. So yeah, maybe Seattle. I don't see the Giants are going to falter. They're gonna probably lose out. Probably win 8 or 9 games, and that's
Yeah.
that's my hot take. And you left hell. You're leaving hell. Bottom line, Eric, thank you for that. Yeah, they are not a good defensive team, and when Kirk Cousins shits the bed like this, they're a very mediocre 500 team. They are.
Yeah. And my actually couple studs are actually I'm actually kind of glad to see Najee freaking back up in here, and he came back and did some stuff, so I'm kind of happy about that. But yeah, it's Chris Olave, he's actually kind of coming out there and he's actually having some fun. I mean, right now out of the out of most of the rookies, I mean him and Pickens are actually playing pretty damn good. I was going to kind of recap a lot of the. I was going to look into it's like some of the rookies and see which wide receivers are actually playing well there for to actually get the the rookie of the year and whatnot. So I was going to kind of see who's kind of edging in that that department, anyways. But yeah, Chris Olave, with Michael Thomas not being there and them kind of clicking a little bit. I mean, Chris Olave's looking pretty damn good, and I'm liking it too.
He is an animal. Chris Olave is a future All-Pro receiver. I mean, this guy, if Michael Thomas, is going to get hurt or doesn't want to play football anymore or get traded or cut, whatever's going to happen to him in 2023, you don't need him. You don't need him. You got Chris Olave. I think you draft another receiver. They're probably going to move off Kamara too. I mean, he's starting to get up there. I think it's 6th or 7th year. So, if you're gonna rebuild, Andy Dalton's kind of the bridge quarterback right now, and if you're kind of just trying to get by to the next year or next quarterback or top pick or whatever the Saints the long game is with them, Chris Olave needs to be the cornerstone of the frame. I mean, this guy's an animal. He was great at Ohio State. Love him here. I'm glad to see Najee's back. Jalen Warren, I think, is a nice complimentary back. He's not taking touches away. Najee Harris is still the Pro Bowl level guy from last year. He's just having a little bit of a down year. I mean, people were getting off on they were leaving Saquon. They were like, okay, he's hurt too much, and now Saquon's back to being All Pro Bowl level guy. So maybe next year Najee gets back on track and becomes what we think he's going to do. A 1,300 yard back. 10 touchdown kind of guy.
Yeah, well, and you got to think about it too. I mean, they had Big Ben too, So I mean, he was the main starter. He was there, every day, all the time. So I mean, he was their main quarterback. There was no, they didn't have this, two guys trying to figure out who's going to be their next guy into place, after Ben and whatnot. So I mean, I figured this would be a little bit more of a different team this year, just because they don't have that Big Ben in there anymore. So I mean, it was just going to be kind of it's like, all right, we'll see who's the next guy up kind of thing, So I mean, it looks like it might be Pickett, and freaking and Trubisky looked like he might be just the backup back. He might be just the backup, and so I mean, and that's just one of those things too. It's just like, you got a new quarterback coming in. It's Big Ben like dumping it off to the running backs pretty often all the time, So I mean, that's why Najee had his work when he was a rookie last year. Now this year, yeah, he might have dipped a little bit, but I think once they kind of figure out who they're going to go with next year, that's going to be a whole different story.
I I like what Pittsburgh's doing. I really do. They're gonna granted, what they're 3-7, 3-8, whatever. Dude, they're gonna be okay next year. You're gonna see a lot better product, and Pickett's showing a few signs. I love George Pickett. George Pickens is another. He's like Olave. These two are gonna be the two guys coming out of this draft that we receiver wise we talk about 3-4 years that are like the perennial. Okay, yeah. These guys are up there in top 5, top 10 land. I like what and they're gonna Mike Tomlin's gonna right the ship on defense. They're not always gonna it's just a down year. This happens with everybody. Don't go fire Mike. I mean, they're a very consistent franchise. They're
most definitely.
Buddy's a huge Steelers fan. He'd say the same thing. Don't overreact. Don't fire Mike Tomlin. Don't fire a bunch of maybe a quarterback dumb. I did this out in 5 games, maybe 6. But yeah, no, I liked your studs there. Is that Delilah?
Yeah, I like. I mean, cats? No, it's Tiny. I'm playing with Tiny. He's being a little rough. But no, with Eric's quite. I think the Saints might have one more year with Thomas. I think he's done. He's out of here. They can. I'm sure they could probably cut him, and they might have a little bit on the books. But I just don't think they're going to keep him around if he's going to be hurt. I mean, fuck, he's barely even played at all this year. So I mean,
and the cat, Eric. The cat. You should put him on camera so Eric can see him quick.
Yeah.
I think Michael Thomas. I think he's there. Oh yeah, look at that.
Hey, Tiny.
Yes. Oh. I don't think he wants to play football, Jamie. I don't think he wants to play football. I think if you want a better bet for a guy who's off the radar, who's going to play next year and actually do something that's kind of in the same boat as Michael Thomas, I would stake my money on Calvin Ridley. If you're in a dynasty keeper, something long term kind of a league, I would because he's going to be playing with Jacksonville, and they're going to give Lawrence one more year to see if he can before they try to move off him possibly. So yeah. I think Ridley would be of those kind of similar guys, similar skill sets, similar situations. Ridley's the better bet than Michael Thomas, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I actually drafted Ridley in a dynasty league.
That's smart. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's and the other thing too is I think actually Jamar Chase, he might be coming back this week too. So yeah,
the rest of the league's in trouble. We come, man. We come. Yep. Jamie, they're coming, man. Bengals are a with a healthy three. The trios is what I call them. You got Tigger, you got Jamar Chase, and then Boyd. Yeah. And if the defense is can bend not break, be top 15, top maybe borderline top 10. I mean, Bengals gonna be hard to deal with, man. I wouldn't want any part of them in the playoffs. They'll do what they did last year. That's for damn sure. Yeah, what they did last year. How about a Cincinnati Dallas Super Bowl?
Right? That'd be awesome as fuck.
I know Burrow and Dak and like Paul. The whole country can finally see what Pollard can. They're gonna find out on Thursday how good Tony Pollard is.
Yeah. I was listening to a couple podcasts here yesterday, and it's just kind of like, I mean, Zeke's going to be kind of I think Pollard is kind of the main guy now. I mean, Pollard's going to get a little bit more of the carries. Zeke's going to get quite a few of them, maybe not as many, but he's going to be more of the goal line back now. I mean, when they get closer to the goal line, I believe it's, that's going to be Zeke's territory. With Pollard being kind of be more in the open field, I think that's going to be kind of the game plan, I believe, and I think that worked out pretty damn well.
And a lot of great backs do that. It's not okay. Zeke was great for about 5 years or so, but guys start to decline. They get into different roles. I mean, that's been like that throughout the history of the league. So maybe this is his his kind of his veteran phase, where maybe Zeke starts winning Super Bowls or starts making deep playoff runs as the complementary goal line back. Kind of like Marion Barber did before him. 10, 15 years ago. He was very similar. He was an every down back. And he went to the kind of the touchdown goal line guy. Worked out well. So I like this doubt, and I'm just saying it because you're there. I like this doubt. I think that Packers game, they should have won that game too.
Yeah, they should have. Yeah, they should have won that game. I was kind of furious about that, and then come out and then the Packers just laying an egg is kind of like fuck that, dude. I was kind of like, no way. I was kind of pissed, but I mean, I was just kind of glad to see the Packers lose, and everybody's like, oh, the Packers are gonna win. They're on a hot streak now. I'm like, they're gonna. I was in the
Yeah,
back of my mind.
so much for that.
Yeah, in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, they're gonna lose this game. Yep, that's what happens too. I'm like, there's no way they were gonna stop freaking Henry. It's just like, that's not gonna happen.
They couldn't stop Ryan Tannehill. What do you mean,
Yeah,
Henry? Yeah, Burks. If he shows any kind of life with their defense and as scrappy as they are, if Tannehill can stay healthy and Burks looks like the guy he can be, and you get anything out of Robert Woods or Westbrook Akeen, that's another dangerous team I wouldn't want any part of. Tennessee in the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, that's for damn sure too, man. It's one of those things. I mean, everybody's getting down to like the nitty gritty now, and we're all going to be like, all right, who are we going to add? Who are we going to drop to our teams? Because in the next actually couple weeks, I mean, you're going to find out if you're actually going to. I mean, it might be depending on the league size. Some of them might be starting at week 13. I know a couple of our leagues. I think bumped it up to week 14, so you get an extra. I think it's in the 12 man. I think I bumped it up to week 14. So then it's 15, 16, and 17, and 18. We're pretty much done. I was talking to a guy about that in a Discord this morning when I was doing my edits. Kind of like, just when it comes to some of the playoffs. He was talking about a league. There's only a 2-week playoff, so it's kind of like, I'm like, yeah, my leagues are pretty much trying to be done before like week 18 because it comes down to where the teams are, the more of the starters are actually going to be not playing that game, and it's kind of like, eh. So it just comes down to uh, how your league's set up, I mean, and I think I got our leagues pretty well set up pretty well where that, you play your heart out to week 13 or 14 it is, and then hoping that you get a bye or you're actually in the playoffs and stuff like that.
There's 3 weeks left. It's guys, it's time to get serious. I think, like I said, and I'm in this situation. Jamie might be. I know he's 6-5 at least one league. I don't know if he's 5-6 in any of the leagues he's in. I'm 5-6 in the 16-man league we do. So if you're in my boat, maybe if you're in a shittier league, maybe 4-7, you're still technically alive. But I think at this point, if you're not 5-6 and above, your playoff shots is pretty much done. But finish out have some pride. You don't want to finish last place in any league. I mean, they give people toilet bowl trophies for that. They give people bad tattoos, bad haircuts for that kind of shit. Show some pride. Finish out strong, whatever it is. But I think the cutoff is 5-6. So if you're 5-6, you need to run the table. So you need to you need to pay extra attention to these waivers. Playoffs are coming up. Let's buckle down here. Who would you say? We want to start with quarterbacks, Jay?
Yeah, we can go that way. We can start with quarterbacks. I was just trying to look at like my like in a couple of my leagues, I'm 3-8. I mean, I actually was in the IDP league. I came close to winning last week, and then I had that just kind of shit the bed for me. But I'm 3-8 in one league. I'm actually 5-6. I'm actually 5th, so I'm actually in the good bear of making the playoffs. I 6-5. I'm right at the end in our 12-man league, and so I just lost Wan'Dale Robinson, so that kind of shit. So that just hurts.
Well, hey, that's why we do this show. We can see who's out there for receivers. So we can try to fill that.
Yeah, 10-1, and then I'm 4-7, and I might be able to. I might be in the 2 QB league. I might be able to make just skimming. It might be close.
You got to run the table. Got to run the table there.
Yeah, and then in your brother's league, I'm 6-5, so I still actually have I'm right at the bottom. So this loss actually hurt me. I was just gonna mention real quick. Loomis just killed me the week before. He had like that 266 odd game, and I'm like, that just blew it. Like, if I would have won that, I probably would have been in a better position. But it's like, god damn, dude. So I mean, we're all trying to get those wins in because you want, either if you're trying to get for that first round bye. I mean, I know I try to shoot for that first round bye just because I like to have just a week mental break. Just take a little week, just reset, and then shoot for the just go in for the championship.
Yeah, no, and you were kind of running over some of the leagues. Yeah, it's a lot of different options there. I would say a couple look better. Obviously the 10-1 team is probably your best chance at a championship. I would say for
Yeah.
football wise. So that's probably the horse to ride in on. But yeah, injuries are gonna happen. Players are gonna be benched. You're gonna have randoms, especially with the long that extra 17th game. That's huge. With buys, kind of some of these teams later in the year, especially the Cardinals. I think Cardinals have packed. I mean, they packed it in, so you don't know what they're gonna do. So you don't know if you can trust DeAndre. You don't know if you can trust Kyler.
Yeah.
James Conner, they cut Benjamin, who was a productive back. You don't know what the hell they're doing. So some of these teams with that you can't really predict. So you got to be able to adapt on the fly. Obviously, life is easier at DFS. We all like doing the weekly shit and DraftKings, FanDuel. But yeah, if you're committed to the league stuff, I mean, you have to keep up on this because freaking Deshaun Watson's coming back, next week, and he's probably going to play. From every report, I didn't think so because I thought the Browns were done because I think they're going to fire their coach and I think they're going to kind of clean house a little bit. I was like, why do you want to put Deshaun out there and get him booed and put him out there with a bad team? Wouldn't you just want to finish the year like 5-12 with Jacoby Brissett? But no, they're going to play him. Do you go and snag him up?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I mean, if he's out there, go ahead because with even though Brissett's been playing well, I mean, he's only rostered in 10% of leagues, and when they do bring back Watson, which is going to be week 14. So I mean, you got one. Pretty much this is probably your last week of Brissett. Then they got their bye, and then he's coming out in week 14. So I mean, yeah, Watson is the absolute play here. He's pretty well out. I mean, he's out there in a lot of quick. He's out there in a lot of 10 and 12 man teams yet. I mean, so I mean, I'm pretty sure if you go hit up your waiver wire, see if you can make moves. Hold this guy up for a week or whatever, and he's gonna be back in week 14, and the guy is gonna be fresh. I mean, he was the the leading pass rush or yards leader before he got suspended. So I mean,
before he got a little happy with the Instagram models and all that stuff. I think all jokes aside, I think we forget that. I mean, this guy was the leading passer in the league in 2020.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and the bad thing is, I had him. I had him before he did all this stupid shit, and my season was going great, and then all of a sudden, boom! I'm like, fuck, dude. So it just tore with everything. Tannehill's out there, Heineke's out there yet. Matt Ryan maybe if you need somebody. I mean,
yeah, he's been spotty. I mean, like I said, if you're desperate enough, I mean, Matt Ryan is capable of popping for a 25-point week.
Yeah,
I think of these guys. I think Tannehill's obviously not 16. You're not 16 or 20. You ain't getting Ryan Tannehill. You ain't getting Deshaun Watson.
Tannehill is actually only rostered in 16% of leagues. So I mean, it's very possible. I mean, he could be out there. 16 probably. Yeah, 16 not.
12 man. I'd go get Ryan Tannehill. I mean, the way he played last week, if he's going to get anything out of Burks and that kind of production, I mean, that's a starting level guy. I mean, that's a fill-in kind of. If you got, I mean, like you said, you got Stafford or you have Kyler. You have a guy that might be, you never know. I mean, Lamar, he's always got the maybe Lamar gets hurt this week. You always got to have a plan B here. And while Tannehill's available, you make a roster spot for that guy. You make a roster spot for Deshaun Watson. Deeper league, like I said, go snatch up if he's still there, an Andy Dalton or a Matt Ryan, Taylor Heineke. I don't trust Brissett. I don't think Brissett's going to Sam Darnold ain't going to do anything. Zach Wilson, no. Davis Mills, no. So there's certain guys that I'm a hard no that I'm like, don't even waste your time. But there's guys that can pop. There's guys that can pop.
I mean, let's see, Brissett's playing. The Browns are playing Tampa Bay this week, so
they're in trouble. Yeah, I'll tell you that. We're gonna win that game.
Never mind. They didn't have their bye, so so never mind. I actually was kind of off in that part. So Yeah, so pretty much Brissett's gonna play this week, and then next week they got um, Watson coming in a week 13. So actually, they had their week. I thought they had their bye was coming up already, but no, it's they had their bye week 9. So that was kind of my fault there. But yeah, so yeah, Brissett's playing this one last week, and then yeah, it's gonna be the Watson show.
You know what? It's there's gonna be some fireworks, man. This makes the Browns make the Browns a lot more interesting. That's for sure. You
Yeah,
see,
I
I
know.
think
Yeah,
I think 2023 we're gonna we'll be having a different conversation. But if I was
yeah,
Browns aren't gonna do anything towards the end of this year, but next year they
yeah,
might be dangerous.
yeah,
They get
for
the right
sure.
you get the right coach or get the right obviously Nick Chubb will be back and Watson maybe get another receiver. Go sign maybe I don't know who Michael Thomas, if he wants to play football, who knows? Go send him to Cleveland or something. Uh,
Right?
Running backs. Want to do running backs?
Yep. Let's go that way.
Okay.
Top
Uh,
top ad top ads would be Latavius Murray,
Kareem.
Sammy Perrine, Cam Akers, Kareen Williams, maybe Marlon Mack up in there. Well, it just varies, but Latavius Murray be the main guy I would be chasing, and
Yeah,
because he's
He's Denver's lead back right now. Yeah,
yeah
if you're not on the Latavius Murray bandwagon, you need to be because
yeah
he's been playing damn good and he doesn't have any competition now. If Edmonds is hurt and they got rid of Melvin Gordon, like Matt Boone, who the hell is going to take touches away from him?
yeah yeah yeah. I mean, I got Boone actually on. I got him on a IR somewhere in a league. I was just looking around. I'm like, oh shit, I got Matt Boone or Mike Boone in. I was just trying to. I mean,
Well,
I don't know if he's gonna.
how about Daniel Boone?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's coming back yet because I haven't heard much yet or anything like that. But they don't really have any. I mean, they don't really have anybody behind Murray, and besides maybe Marlon Mack, and that's if he's ready. But I mean, I don't sound. It honestly doesn't sound like. It doesn't sound like that. Chase
Matt
Edmonds
Boone.
is. It doesn't sound like Chase Edmonds is really going to be playing at all. So I mean, it was kind of more. It sounded like it was more of a bad trade for Denver. Really, like it was give up this guy and not even play him. I mean, it's kind of like the whole, you know,
Just a
um,
complete shit. This team is just a complete shit show.
yeah,
Let's hit the reset button. Maybe Russ will get hurt. Not serious, but maybe he'll just get hurt, and they can stick the backup in, and then go 3-14. Just end this miserable season. Fire the
yeah,
coach. Clean house. Get. If Judy doesn't want to be there, trade his at. Maybe trade him to Cleveland. There you go.
yeah,
There's your receiver. There you go, Cleveland.
yeah.
Thank you.
Um,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, yeah. Sammy's out there. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like more likely. I mean, when people get concussions now, I mean, Sam, it's you're gonna be more likely missing a week. So I mean, you know,
We're all running
Perrine,
back desperate, Jay. I mean, stick
yeah,
him in there.
yeah, Perrine is more likely a guy to be chasing after. He's only 10% rostered, and that'll probably be going up a little bit because I'm sure whoever had Mixon, they're gonna be trying to get him picked up or whatever. So I mean, I might try to, with Henderson not being in the league anymore, I might try to chase
Tyron,
one of these. I might try to chase him tonight. Try to get him on my team. I'm pushing. I want that push to get up in there a little bit farther.
absolutely. I think of the two, because I'm not a Cam Akers guy, Kyron Williams, there's something there. I said week 13, I didn't know Henderson would be cut, but
Yeah,
I
I
said
didn't know. I didn't
I
think that
said week
either.
I said week 13, 14, probably a couple weeks ago. I said by then he'll be the lead feature back, and I think it'll happen within the next couple games by osmosis. I think Williams is going to get in there, and they're going to be like, wow, this kid's. He tore it up in preseason, and this guy's ready to do it. He's ready to go, man. I can't make maybe if you can't get Perrine, let's say you put in a bid tonight or you put in a waiver claim and you can't get Perrine tonight, you can't get Latavius. Maybe if you're desperate enough, maybe take Cam Akers for a week, maybe for
Yeah,
this coming week. But after that, Kyron Williams is the better play, I think.
yeah. I was just kind of looking at seeing. It looks like Cam had the more rush attempts, so it might be. I would probably choose Cam if Cam's there. Maybe go after him first. But if I would go Cam then and then Kyrene. But that's kind of how I would see it. But yeah, Murray, Perrine, Cam, and then Williams would be kind of how I would rank these guys. and maybe Marlon Mack if it really comes to it, but that's really if you're in a more like a deeper league. Um,
We're just it's a lot of retread running backs from like years past. Like I feel like we're
yeah,
this is like 2019, and Marlon, like he's with the Colts or so. Oh,
yeah,
Marlon Mack, Latavius, but Latavius has come to life. He's like goddamn Lazarus. All right, he's come to life, and he's
yeah.
an I think Latavius is an automatic play, whether it's flex or in one of the two running back, whatever your size league you're in or setup. I think Latavius is a play this week. In DFS, if you're doing DFS, Latavius absolutely. He's the
Oh
only
yeah.
Denver. He's the only guy in Denver's offense that's paid production.
Yeah.
Start him.
Yeah, and I was just looking too, and he's available in five of the six leagues I'm in. So I'm like, ooh,
Yeah,
heck
I
of
know,
it.
but big boy, I'm right behind you. If you don't snag him up in any leagues together, I'm getting him too. Like you got to get Latavius Murray, absolutely.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I would just kind of look into it because I mean, well, um, I know, and it all depends on where you're at in waivers too, and I always kind of look at I always kind of look at see where I'm at with the waivers if I'm, if some of these guys are out, which guys are out there, and if I'm able to snag them before somebody else, and so I always look at that too. That's always helpful because if you're down later, like 12th or 11th, you're not going to get the guy. Very maybe unlucky if somebody was not paying attention, and that's happened to me a couple times where no one wasn't really paying attention, and I was like, oh my god, how in the hell did I get this guy? Even though I was like 11th or 12th in the waivers, and so it all depends on where you're at in waivers too, and some of the waivers I'm pretty close to maybe picking up some of these guys, but you just never know.
yeah, man, it'll be interesting to see
Yeah,
what happens. What happens there?
yeah,
Do you want to do receivers?
yeah. We can go that way. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Do you think it's a one off for Greg Dort? I mean, he had a couple bigger games early in the year. I know Cardinals to me like they're packing it in, but maybe him and Colt McCoy or McSorley, maybe they have a rapport that we don't know about. And I
Yeah,
saw,
yeah, for sure.
and maybe DeAndre, maybe he's just like the hell with this. This is a shit show. Get me the hell out of here. AJ Green is what 85 years old. Like he's got nothing left.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, we like Rondale, but he's another young guy.
I was
I
actually
Dortch, if you're desperate enough, do you go after Dortch? He had his first 100-yard game. Like
that's kind of surprising, honestly. I mean, he's kind of he was, I believe in the depth chart, he's kind of down in there. I think maybe
number four.
fourth.
Yeah,
Or
he's
so,
like the fourth receiver.
so I mean, for him to have a huge game like this, that's kind of crazy. I mean, honestly, for him to have that many targets and for him to actually come in at, and freaking McCoy not throwing to D Hop and freaking that just kind of blew my mind because I figured because D Hop would have been actually the guy to toss to, and that part really blew my mind a little bit. And I was like, what? D Hop just not even like in the league, he didn't even like didn't like he even showed up at all. I mean, Greg Dortch, Hopkins. Well, Hopkins, okay, he had 91 yards. I mean, I was kind of surprised about that, and then AJ Green having a little bit more than Rondale Moore. That's to me that's kind of surprising a little bit, but
A lot of those were in garbage time though, because I was watching that. I was probably one of 3 Americans watching that game last night.
probably
Yeah,
probably more than likely.
A lot of AJ and Dortch's stuff was in garbage time, but they might be in a
Yeah,
lot of garbage situations. It's a garbage team. They
yeah,
got a garbage coach. Kingsbury needs to go. GM is even worse. Yeah, I think he's worse than Kingsbury. Steve Keim is a terrible GM. They have no. Who's their best? Buda Baker. Buda Baker is about the only good defensive player they have. I mean, the team is it's shit. I don't
yeah.
like. If I'm Murray, I'm like, you know what? I'm not coming back week 12. By the way, I ain't coming back 14, 15, 16, 17, or 18 either. I'm done. I'm done. I'm packing in. I'm on vacation. I'll be back next year.
Now he wants to play those video games.
Yeah, he wants to play some Call of Duty. He wants to play some Call of Duty. Overpaid quarterback.
Yeah,
Right now he is, but and maybe he's sabotaging Kingsbury. I don't know. Rodgers sabotaged a lot of people. So to me, Rodgers and Murray are very similar. They're super talented. They sabotage people. They're petty. A lot of that stuff. So you don't know if he's dogging it on purpose, sandbagging it on purpose, but just the team is trash. But Dortch, or Rondale. If Rondale's available, maybe some of these younger guys, maybe kick the tires. What do you think about what do you think about Richie James from the Giants? I know he had another decent game. He had a couple earlier in the year, but with all the injuries they've had, especially with Wandale going down,
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you think Richie James kind of jumps up into the number 2 spot behind Slayton?
Yeah, they're gonna have to toss it somewhere. So I mean, yeah, Ricky James will probably he'll have to be up in there a little bit. I mean, yeah, he's kind of a boomer bust guy, and he hasn't really been involved all too much because Danny Dimes hasn't really been tossing his way and whatnot. I mean, their wide receiver core has just kind of been all over the place. Losing people. They lost Shepard, now they lost Rondale, and then they shipped out freaking Tony and whatnot. So it's just been a big, huge mess. And I don't know, maybe Richie James can kind of maybe do something. I know he did. He had 13 points this weekend, and he had a touchdown up in there. So I mean, he might get a few receptions up in there this with Dallas, but I don't really see him doing a whole lot. But I mean, he's a guy to look at if needs somebody. I probably
Uh,
wouldn't chase him, but I mean, if um Cam, if he's out there in some of your leagues, yeah, go. Not Ricky James, but I can't think of his name now. We just said him.
Slayton?
Yeah, Slayton. Yeah, if he's
Yeah,
out there,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. If nobody's jumping on Darius Slayton, get his ass, bring
yeah,
him in. Uh, one more guy, and I'll obviously I would assume everybody's picked him up by now. I mean, the verdict is out: 5 touchdowns in 2 games. I mean, everybody better have Christian Watson.
yeah.
You better stay. What about his kind of his brother, Romeo Dubs? You think I know he's doubtful again this week, but do you think he has any value in the coming weeks with
Co-
Green
Co-
Bay?
Cobb's back, so
Cobb's back, yeah, okay. That's what I was wondering. Like
yeah,
if because Dubs had a few good, before Watson started tearing it up here, Dubs was kind of having a few good games before he got
yeah,
hurt. So I wasn't sure
yeah,
if if these guys should kick the tires on Dubs when he
yeah,
comes back in the lineup.
yeah. Christian Watson is 73% rostered, so
Yeah, yeah.
very slim chance he might be out there. Maybe in a couple, there might be in some smaller leagues he might be out there, but yeah, I missed out. I got him in one league, but yeah, I missed out him in a few
It was like a
in a few
goddamn
leagues.
gold rush, dude. It was like a goddamn gold rush for this guy.
Yeah,
I mean, you pretty much had to like sacrifice your firstborn to try and
yeah,
fucking get this guy.
yeah,
It was so
and
hard.
yeah, it was pretty bad because the bad part is I should have started him this week, and I probably would have been a little bit closer in your brother's league, but I still probably would have lost either way. But maybe Michael Gallup out there, guys. Gallup might. I have a feeling that with this Thursday game, Gallup might get a touchdown up in there. With these Thanksgiving games, anything's possible, and I think with this Giants Cowboys game, I think Gallup gets a touchdown in this
I
game.
think I think Dallas is ready to like expose the Giants. Be like, you guys had a cute little start, but we're gonna throttle you. We're gonna put up 38 points. We're gonna throttle you. And one of those touchdowns, yeah, could very well end up going to Michael Gallup for sure. He's on bench in one of my leagues, so
Yeah.
you probably have him too somewhere.
No, actually, I don't have him anywhere. I mean, I had him once, and then I dropped him, and I was like, oh shit. But I have a feeling. I think where the Cowboys are playing and the way usually Thanksgiving goes, I think there's a very good chance that Gallup gets a touchdown up in there this
I
week.
agree. I agree. Absolutely.
Um, maybe Matt Collins, if he's out there, if you need him in a smaller, deeper league. I mean, he's only 16% rostered, so it's very
Yeah,
possible.
they got one,
Um,
or sorry, two offensive options in
yeah,
Vegas. They got Josh Jacobs and Devontae. Everybody else is, yeah. You look at the
yeah,
look at the stat lines. They have one receiver and one running back.
yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch. Yeah, I wouldn't trust Renfro or any of these guys. I don't know if Renfro's even playing. Tight ends.
Traylon Burks too, guys.
Okay. Oh,
If Traylon Burks is out there, go snag him up.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, uh, I would say so. That's another guy like Watson's about to blow up. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you can get your hands on Burks, please, yeah, absolutely get that man on your roster for sure.
yeah, yeah. But there's a couple leagues that might try to get him, but other than that, he's pretty well rostered. Smaller leagues, I might be able to get it. Small league, I might be able to get him, and then another 12 man, he's out there. So there's a few opportunities for me to snag him up.
Yeah. I think he's going to be. I predicted this a few weeks ago. I think he's going to be the number one guy in Tennessee. I don't think he's got anybody in his way. Robert Woods is shot. What the hell's wrong with him? He's done. Westbrook Akeen's a nice complimentary, like number 3, number 4 guy. But yeah, Phillips, he's a number 4 guy. Like they don't have anybody in front of him. The tight end is a. So yeah, Burks will be the number 1 option behind Derrick Henry and Tennessee for sure. All right. Tight ends here, my man. Let's see. Juwan Johnson's still there in a lot of these leagues.
If he's out there, go get him. I mean, he's been getting a touchdown here. I mean, I think he's got 5 touchdowns now in the last 3 games. And
Juwan's he's playing. I think I have to see what he has for the entire year, but yeah, let me see. Yeah, he's got receiving touchdown. Yeah, he's got 5 or the entire season. But yeah, within the last 4 or 5 games, he's got all 5 of his touchdowns. So yeah, he's the second half of the season, or this portion of the season, he's been tearing it up. So yeah, he's been probably one of the hottest tight ends in football. Yeah, and he's still there. So if you got a bye week or you're dead, you had Zach Ertz and he went down for the year or something. Maybe Mark Andrews is questionable or some guy like that. Go snag this man up.
Yeah, they're playing the Niners, so I mean I think they'll with Andy Dalton being there, I think the fact that he likes his tight ends, so that's a big push there. Will Disley, if he's out there, I'd go pick him up just in case, because I mean they're playing the Raiders, and then you got Likely. Yep, the Likely's still out there, and probably he's only 22% rostered. Mark Andrews is still kind of I think he's still kind of questionable. So I mean, Likely kind of up in there too a little bit. The other thing too now is, what do we do with up in Atlanta? I mean, it's which guy do we chase up in Atlanta now? I mean, with Pitts being out, and I'm not sure who that. It might be Parker Heath, but I'm not sure if who's the. I'll have to look at see who the starter is for Atlanta.
It's Parker Heath.
Is it? It's even though it's kind of one of those things that the Falcons' offensive line doesn't really pass too much, but it's just an option out there to if you need a tight end.
It's slim pickings.
It is.
Tight ends is like running back. I mean, it's slim pickings at this point, but you kind of just hope. With a tight end, especially, I mean, you don't expect – it's like a kicker. You don't expect very much. You're like, maybe this guy will get me a touchdown, get me 10 points or something, help me just get something. So that's kind of all you can hope for with some of these, kind of scrub. I don't think Juwan Johnson's scrub, but the rest of these guys are scrubs.
Yeah.
Moreau from Vegas, he's a scrub. A lot of these guys are scrubs.
Yeah. Well, these are kind of the bottom feeders. I mean, they'll get you a couple of targets, couple of catches, maybe if you're lucky, a touchdown up in there, but – I mean, other than that, I mean, this is kind of slim pickings this week for tight ends. Maybe Trey McBride, maybe he has a turnaround week. Maybe with them playing, the Chargers, that might be a different story. It's just never know though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Defenses.
Yeah, if you have a couple, I haven't really looked into those too much. Who would say who's going to be kind of.
So it's a good week.
Ads.
Yeah, it's a good week for a lot of the defenses that would be available, and especially in deeper leagues. It's a good week for that. If you got Carolina's defense, or they're available, they're playing Denver. Anybody playing Denver right now? Fumbles, picks, defensive touch. Pick sixes. What I mean, you could see anything against this Broncos offense because they're terrible. They're terrible. They're all time bad.
Miami against Houston.
Yeah, that's another good matchup. I mean, Davis Mills he's not a turnover machine, but I mean, he's still Davis Mills. He's always capable of a fumble or a pick. Yeah. Running back, I don't think you'll get. It would more or less be the points allowed. I don't think Houston's going to put up more than about 13 points on Miami. Yeah. So if you're looking, kind of get points from the points allowed portion of it. Chargers, they got the car, especially if Kyler doesn't play. I mean, it'll probably be another repeat of what happened last night with the 49ers. So, probably under 20 points, probably a couple turnovers. So, and the Bosa kid, he's always capable of getting a couple sacks. So, I mean, Chargers can piece together a 12-point kind of fantasy day for you. Uh, and then maybe the Colts. I think if the Colts are available in any leagues, they got Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's doing better on offense, but they're not great. Pickett's still a young guy. He's always capable of a pick or a fumble or
Yeah.
getting pressure on him, sacking him 3-4 times. So but I think the number one, if you can get your hands on them, would either be Carolina or Miami. So if you can
Yeah.
get your hands on them, that'll be the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with you there. I mean, those are kind of the two teams that I see if you need somebody to pick up. Yeah, those would be kind of the main two. Yeah, maybe maybe the Chargers kind of the third, but I don't know.
Yep.
Maybe Chicago up in there too, since the Giant. Maybe
Since
the
the
Jets.
Jets don't have a quarterback. Jets don't even
Yeah,
have a fucking
yeah,
Tuesday.
maybe.
They got no quarterback yet. Oh
Yeah,
god.
for sure. Yeah, but yeah, I think that that kind of wraps up everything
Yeah.
a little bit, and
We kept it football heavy tonight, but we, for any guys that were tuning in, we tried to put some other stuff. I know the Devils have won 13 in a row in the NHL.
damn.
NBA Westbrook might be traded to the Spurs, so if you got him in fantasy, that might affect things. I mean, he'd have a much bigger role with the Spurs than he does with Lakers for sure. Let's see what else. WWE, if you're a wrestling fan, Survivor Series is this weekend, so we'll see what happens. I know the Bloodline they're facing the Brawling Brutes and McIntyre and Kevin Owens, so that should be a badass match. So there's other stuff going on in the world of sports, but yeah, we kept it football heavy tonight because it was a big week of football, and we're getting closer to playoffs, so we wanted.
Oh
to
yeah,
take
we are. Yeah, most definitely we are. It's getting to that point where we're all kind of cramming. We all want to get into playoffs and stuff like that. And I know there's going to be a lot of Thursday games. We pretty much got all the Thanksgiving games. That's going to be kind of most a lot of people are going to be trying to. Yeah, a lot of that too. I mean, everybody's going to have to really adjust their rosters now because you got 6 teams on freaking Thursday. And then you got a little bit of the Sunday night game or the Sunday games. So I mean, it's all going to be Thursday, Sunday, and you got to figure out who you're playing, who and whatnot. So it's
Yeah.
It's gonna be very interesting though.
You wake up Thanksgiving morning, you better have a damn good idea who you're playing this, Thursday through Monday. You better know your stuff because otherwise you'll get beat. These guys later in the year, it's more competitive. It's everybody's making that playoff push. It's like you need to be on the mark. So.
Yeah, most definitely, and I know I'm going to be having to do a lot of that stuff too. It's like, God, okay, who do I want to play? I want to play the Dallas or it's the Vikings. It's just like, God damn, and hopefully maybe Cooks has a good game this week or something like that. So I mean, it's crazy though. Either way, it's kind of like there's a lot of things out there that's going to win or make or break your actually this week. It's either you're one game closer being into playoffs or 1 week closer just not making the playoffs.
Yeah, no, very true.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, no, we got Anthony. I think Anthony's coming. So anybody tuning in Friday, finally after all these months of speculation and back and forth between him and Jamie, finally Anthony's coming on the show on Friday. Man, that's can't miss. Jamie and Anthony, that's going to be gold. If you want some entertainment, if you want some soap opera level shit, you need to tune in on Friday. We'll give you another good show, another banger. So
yeah, I know. I was just gonna say too. I mean, I'm actually doing fairly well with my hockey teams too. I mean, I've
we'll talk a little hockey on Friday too, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually 4-1. I'm second out of 12, and then in my other league, I'm actually 4-1, and I'm actually in first place in hockey. So.
Good. Yeah. No, that's great.
Yeah.
I know. We put it on the bottom, but that wrist injury from a week or two ago. The guy that got his wrist slashed, Vander Kane from the Oilers, he's going to be out 3 to 4 months. So
shit.
That was a big And then obviously we'll talk about the big. There's a defenseman too that from the Sharks that we might talk about on Friday. That he's on pace to have 100 points. There hasn't been a defenseman in the NHL to have 100 points in I think like 20 years.
Holy shit!
So yeah, there's some stuff we'll get, in McDavid and a lot of the other studs. We'll get to that. We'll try to maybe put up some, like the top performers and basketball too. Kind of keep you updated. See what Jason Tatum and all those cats are doing. So
yeah, for sure.
Steph, all those guys.
Who knows? Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. Yeah, I know I got to work. I might be working a little bit Thursday, so I mean, I guess I'll talk to you a little bit after we get done here a little bit. But yeah, other than that, guys,
Yeah, yeah,
if you like we're just kind of. I mean, this is kind of our first year kind of doing this, and I think next year will be things will be a little bit better next year because we're kind of finding who we are, what kind of things, what kind of information we want to put out there.
smooth.
What yeah, and just it's stuff like that. So I mean, it's just we're only 2 times a week right now. I mean, we both work quite a bit, so we try to get this in when we can, and it's not always. So yeah, I mean, it's sometimes we might have one show a week, or it honestly it all just varies. But I mean,
My
we
cell
try to
phone will
put.
crap out, and then I have to tell Jamie. My cell phone will crap out. I have to tell Jamie an hour before we're about to. Sorry, dude. I have no screen. I got to go to the cell phone store.
Yeah, yeah. No,
But yeah,
so
well,
I mean, I think this is kind of more of a learning experience for us, and we want people to kind of people to chime in too, and we want to have at least a decent following and stuff like that. So I mean, it's something a little bit different. Yeah, happy
yeah,
Thanksgiving to
you
you
too,
too. If
Eric.
I
You
yeah,
get some
so
turkey, and sweet potatoes and cranberry,
yeah,
all that good stuff, man.
yeah,
You too,
yeah.
Shannon. Thank you, Shannon.
Yeah, and I just think this off season we're gonna have. I think Eli and I will have quite a bit of content. So I mean, we're gonna break down a lot of the divisions as well. And I think honestly,
Maybe I'll get out of here and come up there. Maybe transfer
yeah,
me.
um,
Transfer me.
yeah. I think the other thing too is I think we need to try to have a ranking system. I think I was thinking about that too. Have ourselves a little bit of a ranking system here coming down the road. We break down who we think we are in our own personal have a kind of ranking, so we can be like, hey, he's ranked 15th in my rankings or 14th in yours. So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
so
no,
just
definitely, definitely. That's yeah. It just get a little more, and me too. A lot of the nights that we get together up there, like at least one night a week for a while. I've been, our friend Buddy's been tatting me up, so that kind of takes away a night to do a lot of show prep or to
yeah,
try to do an extra stream or something. So a lot of that stuff, yeah, we'll get as this, going into next year, it'll be a lot smoother and we'll have a lot better of a setup. So yeah, just kind of stay with us, or keep tell your friends about us, and it's just going to keep getting better. We're going to keep adding elements, and yeah, ranking systems, and throw kind of whatever you guys want to talk about, certain sports. If there's something you want to hit heavier, I know Jared and Chad were bringing up some Lions talk. If you want to talk Lions, dude, I'll talk Lions for 2 hours. Grew up watching the damn. My mom's a huge Lions fan, so
yeah, yeah. So I mean, we're kind of into kind of almost everything. We
yeah,
might even talk some NASCAR a little bit too.
hell
I
yeah.
mean, so I mean, it's
Fantasy, baby, coming next. We got to put together a league next year. I know
I mean,
Eric's.
I got a league. I guess Eric beat me. I didn't know it, and yeah. So
Oh,
hopefully next year. I mean, I like to have a little bit more people with NASCAR and whatnot because that's coming around the corner here pretty again soon, which is crazy. And the crazy thing, I was actually reading that Jimmy was actually he's actually going to be a part owner with Richard Petty's race
yeah,
team.
he's going to drive part time too. Yeah, Jimmy,
Yeah,
that was big news. I should have put that on the scroll one of these
yeah,
times. Yeah, Jimmy Johnson will be back part time in
yep,
2023. Teamed
yep,
up with Petty, and so that'll be good for the sport, man. You team up 7-time champ and 7-time champs. The Petty name, the Johnson name. So I mean
yeah,
that's great for NASCAR, man.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think that's just kind of. I think that kind of wraps up everything,
Yeah,
guys. I mean,
a lot of shit tonight. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely football heavy, but yeah, it had to happen. And we even got some studs and duds. You see that? I might even wear a magician's outfit next. Maybe I'll get an outfit. I got to keep the shades though.
yeah,
I got to keep my as Eric would say, my Bono look. And but in the red light for sure. But maybe I'll get some different out. Last week I was in a robe. Man, we'll mix it up.
yeah, yeah. This week we didn't freeze really, so I mean
Oh
that
yeah.
was so
See,
that was kind of awesome.
this is good Eli. This is good Eli and Jamie right here.
Not freezing up, getting
All right.
all like, what the hell's going on here? But all right, guys. I'm Jamie. That's Eli. We appreciate everybody's chiming in, comments and whatnot. So yeah, yeah. Just if you like our content, at least subscribe to us and like our videos. Um, yeah. and we usually try to put out there when we go live, and it's usually Tuesdays and Fridays most of the time. So, but everybody have a nice, lovely Tuesday night. Get the guys that you guys need. Get those dubs in, and yeah,
Eat,
we'll
eat,
probably.
eat, eat them. Eat them. Eat those potatoes. Eat the turkey, the ham,
uh,
the dubs. Nice side of
yeah.
dubs, and we'll be back Friday. Tune in Friday, Anthony. Review the Thanksgiving games, preview the rest of the weekend. Maybe talk some NHL fantasy, maybe talk some NBA fantasy. So yeah, good stuff's coming. Tune in Friday.
Yep. All right, guys. I'm Jamie. That's Eli. We're out of rhythm. Pieces.
Deuces.